Title: The Last Episode. In a quiet town, nestled among the hills, there was a home that once belonged to a family of 4. It stood abandoned, a dreary structure with windows like hollow eyes looking out at the world. Legend had it that the family, known for their love of television, mysteriously vanished the day before the finale of their favorite show, The Midnight Chronicles. After their disappearance, the episodes of the series became a local urban legend, particularly the elusive unaired episodes that were whispered to contain unspeakable horrors. It was in the fall when Mia, a local high school student and an ardent fan of the show, discovered something strange while rummaging through the local library's archives. Amongst dusty VHS tapes and forgotten DVDs, she stumbled across a small box labeled Unaired Episodes, Do Not Duplicate. A chill raced up her spine. Her heart raced with excitement, but a flicker of apprehension buzzed in the back of her mind. Surely, the unaired episodes meant the reveal of what really happened to the family. Gathering her friends, Jake, Emma, and Leo, after school one Friday, Mia could hardly contain her enthusiasm. They settled down in her basement, with flickering lights overhead and old, run-down furniture surrounding them. The air was thick with the smell of popcorn and the weight of anticipation. The group had often watched The Midnight Chronicles together, scoffing at its amateurish scares, but tonight, they felt a different air, a sort of heaviness that hung around the edges of their laughter. With a click, the ancient VCR sputtered to life, and the screen illuminated their faces. The first episode played out like a tape from another world. Familiar characters spoke their lines, but something felt off. The laughter that typically followed their antics lingered uncomfortably, stretching into chilling silences. When they reached the unaired episodes, titled The Family's Secret, the tone shifted dramatically. "Why are we still here?" the main character, Sarah, called out, a frantic edge creeping into her voice. "Don't you see? It's not just a show anymore." The friends exchanged confused glances, but Mia urged them to keep watching, swallowed in intrigue. They wouldn't know until the end, after all. The following frames portrayed Sarah discovering odd symbols etched into the walls of her home, the same symbols that were etched into the walls of the house they watched from, a few miles away. A chill washed over them as Jake pointed at the screen. "What the heck? Those look just like." "It's just a coincidence," Emma interrupted, but her voice wobbled. As the episode progressed, disturbing images filled the screen. Shadows lurked just beyond view, whispering creaking sounds echoing in an eerie direction like voices lost in the void. The screen froze as the character fell to her knees, screaming, "It's coming for us." The transmission cut, the screen going dark for a few moments before a static then fuzzed across the image like a veil of snow. "What the hell?" Leo exclaimed, throwing his hands up. But Mia leaned closer, mesmerized. "We have to see what happens next." Ignoring her friend's hesitation, she rewound the tape and started again. The same scenes of dread unfolded before them. Each time they played it, the same chilling air enveloped them, growing in intensity. Hours slid by as they repeated the episode, but something fundamental had shifted. Dark shadows whispered from the corners of the basement, coiling like smoke around their ankles. Each playthrough drew them deeper, and when they finally dared to look away from the screen, the basement was contorted into an unfamiliar landscape. Walls dipped and shadows danced, reflecting scenes from the nightmare episode they had just witnessed. The room twisted into a nightmarish version of itself, and one by one, echoes of Sarah's panic began to reverberate through the air. "Guys!" Leo stood rigid, eyes wide, pointing toward the window. A figure sat on the porch swing outside, swaying back and forth. Mia squinted, and her heart dropped when she recognized the silhouette, Sarah herself, pale and gaunt, lips moving as if trying to call out to them. "No, it can't be real," Emma gasped. "This has to be a joke." Quote, but the whispers that followed, urging them to join Sarah, felt all too real, entwining with their imaginations. The ground beneath them vibrated as the screen flickered back to life with Sarah's terrified eyes, locking onto theirs. "This is where you belong. Don't leave," she pleaded. The door rattled violently, and dark shadows stretched into the room, clawing at the walls, desperate to pull them in. "No," Mia shouted, but her voice was swallowed in the cacophony of whispered fears. As she scrambled for the door, her friends gripped her arms, but one by one, they began to unravel from her grasp, drawn toward the flickering light of the screen like moths to a flame. Dramatic chords rang out, drowning out their cries. Mia's screams joined theirs as reality melded with the unearthly horrors of the Midnight Chronicles, and as the lights flickered, faces of the missing family appeared, smiling back through the TV screen. The flickering remained, voices laced with fear, forever echoing, while the basement sealed itself to the outside world with cold silence. From that day forward, in hushed voices, the townsfolk spoke of the haunted home, the lost friends, and the chilling mystery of the unaired episodes. But the truth was far darker. A new episode filled with terror played on repeat, unseen and unheard, waiting for a new audience to sink into its embrace.